Hey, welcome, all my right thinkers. Thanks for tuning in to check out your boy P Funk, thinking right out here in the lab. What I do for you? Oh, I'm in the book today, boy. This book here has got me all excited. So I got a nice lesson for you coming up. It's like 3 lessons in one, but it's all good. Let's do what we do. Rightism. 25 rules to live by. Storytelling. Story with a message. The message and story for life. I give life lessons, sometimes from the book, sometimes off the dome. Today I'm taking you to the book because this is the stuff that I learned. I want to make sure it get out to other people because if you take it the way I took it, it just give you information that you can use to better yourself. That's what I do for you. Let's go. All right. Right Thinker's mission, and that's what I'm on, is to enlighten, inspire, educate, and motivate you, the individual, to a higher spiritual level of enlightenment. Right Thinker's way of life, through mental and spiritual discipline daily, will help and guide you to obtain your goal of spiritual enlightenment, aka know thyself. My mission is to get all right thinkers to do just that through the lessons that I'm giving you. That's why I do what I do for you every day. Let's go. That's the right thinking way. Knowing thyself, I ask the question, do you know you? It's rhetorical, but if you don't have the answer for yourself, tune in. I can help you with that. That's what I do for you. Let's go. A person who knows not and knows not that they know not is foolish. Disregard them. A person who knows not and knows that they know not is simple. You teach them. That's why I do what I do for you. Appreciate you too. Stay tuned. I got more for you. A person who knows not and believes and think that they know is dangerous. Avoid them. I do. A person who knows but knows not that they know is spiritually asleep. I can awaken them. I'm a spiritual alarm clock here to wake you up with knowledge of self. A person who knows and knows that they know is wise. Follow them. All these persons reside in you. Right thinkers love thyself. And to my yacht, be true. Right thinkers, this lesson is a 3-in-1 concept, but the title is What is the Role or of the King or Queen? That's a little snippet of that information, tell you how that was. But then the main thing is the concept of Mayat as the foundation of the Netarian priesthood. That's the part that's going to be interesting. So let's get with the role of the king and the queen. The king and the queen as what? The high priest. Mm-hmm. The pharaoh, P-E-A-A-H, or great house. The pyramids are called the pharaoh, okay? The para, okay? That means the great house. Of what? The institution of the seat of what? Leadership in ancient Egyptian civilizations. They were, the word pharaoh is a corruption, listen, this is a Greek word, of the ancient Egyptian word perha, and is also erroneously translated as king. It is more related to, watch this, caretakers, guardians, and protectors or shepherds of the knowledge. The Paras were also who? The high priests of the country. In some periods, watch this, he or she was the political ruler and or the head of the religion. Again, the main function was to what? Their main function was to listen, promote, and protect of the spiritual traditions. Somebody had to be the caretaker of the stores, and that's what they was. Watch this. They were in charge of the spiritual traditions. They were in charge of the economy, safety, and the general welfare of what? That country. That was their job. Like the president supposed to look out for everybody. 52 states, he got to look out for everybody equally. That's impossible to happen, but that's the concept. Now, the Perah was seen as a what? Incarnation of Haru. Again, the divinity of order, truth, righteousness, and redemption. Remember, we are reincarnated to take care of the killer of our father, which is our ego. You have to control your ego right here in the physical world. And the perha, watch this, could be man or woman. Again, as such, the first duty of the perha was to what? maintain order, and keep chaos, which is disorder, unrighteousness, famine, injustice, etc. So I mean, he had a job to do, and keep all this what under control. So like a tough job, don't it? So if you ain't equipped for that job, you don't need that job. High priests and priestess assisted who? The Pariah, like the assistants of the president, the cabinet. And watch this, in what? The day-to-day administration of the country. They ran the country like we do now. Ancient times, that's where it started. Watch this. Now, and it was what? Delegated to what? The education of the officials. That means they taught the people to be what they were. Watch this. Now, in later times, that control of the priesthood, here we go, was eroded. And the nobility, as well as the military leaders, ruled with more autonomous control, meaning they became more egotistical, they became more personal, like we always do. What's this? Now, this, along with, here we go, the question was asked, well, what? We had all the spiritual knowledge, how we get invaded? Watch this, because of what we did eternally. And then watch this happen, along with the invasions and the internal corruption, did what? Led to Egypt being what? Conquered in the late period by who? The Persians, the Syrians, the Libyans, the Greeks, the Romans, the Arabs, you name it. Everybody came in and took a piece of us. Because at one time we were the cat's meow, so to speak. So everybody came and took bits and pieces and used what they wanted. We had the goods. So everything they took, and watch this, to this day, what we teaching is still what we taught back then. I'm gonna show you. So that's why I'm doing this to let you know. Ancient times ain't no different than now time. Watch. Now there were several pharaohs who were heads of the state, and at the same time, not just heads of the temples, but also spiritual philosophers. Some examples were Asar, Aset, Seti I, and Akhenaten. Remember him, the heretic king? They promoted what? And introduced expansions into what? The spiritual philosophy, and elevated particular divinities for what? For general worship and social edification. At one time, they thought the gods were just for the elites. So they simplified it, broke it down, so everybody had the opportunity to better themselves. Okay, that was the concept of the role of the king and the queen. Now let's talk about the concept of Mayat as the foundation of the Nazarene priesthood. You could not become a priest if you didn't pass the Mayat philosophical schools of knowledge. Let's talk about it. Now, they said the word is Uja Madat, spelled Udjamedut. It means weighing of words. The law to what? The ability to judge. And the only way you can judge is willing to be judged. As a Mason, I'm willing to be tried and never denied, and willing to be tried again. I am who I am. I can prove it over and over again. That's the concept of you got to be able to be judged in order to judge. So watch this. Now, this is a science of what? Ethics. That word right there. If we was using ethics today, ain't no way in the world that clown would be anywhere near the White House. Okay? But because the ancients practiced the science of ethics, and watch this, that's what Maya represents, in which, watch this, this is a science of ethics in which, watch, every aspirant in the Nazarene clergy must become proficient. Now, as a Master Mason, Dean of Instructions, we had a little book on here, I still use it. Okay? I bought a bunch of these books about 40 years ago. Okay, still seeing the wrapper. These are study guides. These little blue book. Everything Masonically is in this little blue book. I would challenge all my students, find anything in this book that I don't know about, and I make your master. Okay? Couldn't do it, never did it. Don't worry. Why? Because I know the book. It's a little book. I know the book from cover to cover. But the whole point is I'm proficient. And before I give you the first degree, you come in, I'm gonna give you the first degree in apprenticeship. You get that. After that, in order for you to move up into progress, you got to answer a question. Have he shown suitable proficiency? Suitable meaning, is it passable? Not just proficient, suitable proficiency. So you got to understand, you can't just be proficient. You got to be better, a little average, better than average. And watch this. This is based on the ancient Egyptian teachings of the Per-Im-Heru in ancient Egypt, the judges, and all those connected with the judicial system was what? Initiated in the teachings of the Maya philosophy. That's how they lasted for thousands of years in peace and harmony, living the Maya philosophy amongst themselves. Judges were priests and priestesses of Maya. Again, the judicial system was based on Maya, so everybody got a fair shake, not just at Judgment Day. Thus, those who would discharge the laws and regulations, aka politicians of society, were well trained in the ethical and spiritual mystical values of the Maya philosophy. These principles, which what we live by, included the application of justice, first of all, and the responsibility to serve society as a whole and promote harmony, and the possibility for spiritual development in any atmosphere of freedom and peace. For only when there is justice, and that's something that we've been fighting since we've been here as a race of people that we haven't got, and fairness in society, can there be abiding harmony and peace. We ain't had it, so we ain't ever going to be at peace. We ain't working together, and the harmony and peace are necessary. Why? For the pursuit of true happiness. We live in a slave mentality. We live in a religious order where we being told and instructed what to do. And if you follow the rules, you're okay. If you go against the rules, you're the bad guy. In search of pursuit of happiness in in your inner fulfillment of life, you should be free to pursue whatever things that you want. That's their claim. They say democracy gives you all that nonsense. They talk a good one, but they don't live up to none of it. Sound like the guy they trying to put back in office. He fit that bill perfect. Now the opposite, we live in Maya. Okay. Now I tell you, in balance, if we got Maya, what's the opposite of Maya? No, not the ego. Mm-mm. Not Apophis. Mm-mm. You ready? It's called Isfet. Spelled Isfet. You might not be able to Google that word, because modern concepts don't put the definition of that, but we got the definition. Let's talk about it. Now, the opposite of Maya, which is righteousness, is we call in Maya or un-Maya. That's unrighteousness, okay? Or, your man, Isfet, wrongdoer. If Maya is good, you got a guy that's always bad. That's not your ego. Remember, the ego is just a little rough around the edges. But Isfet, you don't hear nobody talking about him. Why? They don't want him to get no play. They don't want him to oppose Maya. They push Maya. They don't push Isfet for a reason. You got the ego, you got the Apophis. But Isfet is the opposite of Maya, because there had to be balance. Just right, if we got righteousness, you got to have unrighteous. They got to go together, and one gonna supersede the other, but they're equal in what they are. Again, Star Wars, when Darth Vader, which is Luke's father, he was a good guy, wasn't he? But when he got a taste of that bad side, man, I want to be bad. And every time we choose to be bad, I did it, right? The dark side, the side that looks good, it looks good, or they just say a whole bunch of bloody goods. Yeah. So you fall in love with the dark side until you get there and realize, this is not what I thought it was. A little late, okay, to understand that. Just like being ignorant of self, not knowing who you are, going through life thinking and wishing and hoping, and realize, man, I really messed up. You think? Get the truth, learn the truth, live by it. Hold on. One second. No, I ain't got my time now. So watch this. It's fit wrongdoing. Those who aspire to work as what? The clergy or righteous livers, upholding the right thing of philosophy, aka Netarian culture, must gain a keen insight into the philosophy and practice the Mayat philosophy. I'm gonna end this lesson right quick. I got some things to do. I will be back.